Okay, once again, we'll start with a statement from Coach Fox, then we'll have questions directed to the student athletes. Again, identify yourself. We'll get a mic to you, your affiliation, and also to whom you're asking the question. Mike, an overview. Congratulations.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, I think we all feel like we've been in a heavyweight fight. We probably have. That was just a gutsy win for our club. Contributions from a lot of guys, and they have such a great team. I think the key to the game was, if you look at the box score, we had 12 assists. I think we really defended well. We needed to with their offense, and obviously we took advantage of some of their mistakes there on the top of the third. You don't expect to have that kind of inning against a team like Oregon State, but we took advantage, and we did just enough on the mound. I thought Cooper was sensational. He had no idea he was going to pitch today, this morning, I'm sure. And there's Ben sitting there, hadn't been in a game for us since May 13th, so you get some unlikely heroes out here. So I'm proud of all my guys. A good win for us.
Okay, we'll open up for questions for student athletes, and we'll start over here.
Hi, Mike Toper with Spectrum News. I got a question for Zack and maybe Ben if you want to add to it. What was the approach at the plate early on going against a pitcher like Luke? It seems like you guys were patient. You were able to kind of get to him early. What was your, I guess, approach coming into today?
Yeah, our coach has spent countless hours putting in work on film and watching guys, and they give us good feedback on what we should do in the box. Our approach is just sit on the fastball and just be ready for it. I think we did that well and got him out pretty early, and that was the goal.
Ben?
Like he said, countless hours go into preparation, and obviously a good pitcher like him, we had to really control the zone today, which I think we did. We didn't really swing out of the zone at many pitches, so I think that was what gave us the overhand today, or upper hand.
Okay, Mike.
Mike Lanana, Baseball America. For any of you guys who want to take this, obviously, Delatry going down there in the first inning, not what you want to see. You hate to see an injury like that. For you guys, what was the mood like in the locker room, the clubhouse after that happens, and how do you respond from something like that?
Zach, why don't you start?
Yeah, I mean, it's never what we expected, but we got a lot of guys in the pen that can throw well, and I don't think anything changed in the dugout, and just kept playing. We got good guys in the bullpen, so we really worry about that.
Cooper?
Yeah, similar to what Zach said. That kind of happened earlier in the year when he went down, and I feel like our team, that's how we are. I mean, one guy goes down, the next guy steps up, and, that's how we've been all year, and we just pick each other up, and like he said, the bullpen, they did great today. Caden, I thought he did get great coming in. Him and Joey, two freshmen coming in there and pitching big-time innings for us. So.
Yeah. And, it stunk for Luka. We expected him to go a little longer, obviously, but it happens. And, this year it's been a story with our bullpen being excellent throughout the whole year. And we have a lot of faith in Caden and Joe, and obviously Coop coming in. Brett Daniels has been great all year. So our bullpen's been awesome. So it says a lot today.
Get back here in the middle.
South Carolina. For Cooper, Coach mentioned you're probably surprised that you pitched today. When did you find out that you may have to go, and how much did your work earlier this year coming out of the pen help?
Well, actually, I was on pitching chart duty today because I was planning on starting on Monday, and then once Luka went down, Coach Woodard just came up to me and said, "Hey, man, we might need you today, so just be ready." And once the opportunity came, I just switched my focus over to hey, let's get in the zone, and went from there.
Right up here.
Pat James, GoHeels.com. Ben, first game for you in about a month. Just kind of what kind of allowed you to kind of get back, and just kind of was there ever a point when you thought you might not be able to make it back?
I felt healthier the last couple of weeks or so, and as things were getting better, I started getting more reps in the field and hitting and taking live swings. And I think it was more mentally than physically. I just needed to be ready to play today, and I felt really good all day.
Mike Patterson, Omaha World Herald. Cooper, talk about the first batter you faced. You came in, I think the bases were loaded, and you struck him out on 3 pitches.
Yes, I mean, all year, my goal is to go out there and get ahead in the count, and I was able to do that, and I think he was a little froze on the second fastball I threw him. I think he might have been expecting something else, and then on the slider for strike 3, B-Mark did a great job framing that pitch and getting that one for me, and Coach Woodard called a great game, and he always does.
Mike?
Cooper, obviously this is your first year with the Tar Heels, and you've played a huge role, whether it's out of the bullpen or starting on Fridays. When you transferred here, were these some of the moments that you were envisioning coming through today here in Omaha and everything that you've done this year?
Yeah, I guess it was always a dream. Obviously, as a little kid, you dream of that, and to be able to make it a reality, it's that much more special. And it's been a great year, and got to thank the coaches and teammates for believing in me and giving me this opportunity.
JJ Cooper, Baseball America. For all 3 of you guys, I know it gets hot in North Carolina, but today the conditions, the heat, was that normal hot, or was that a little bit beyond what you're used to?
Zach, you start.
Yeah, it got pretty toasty there in the middle innings and at the end, but we've played in hot weather, so we knew what to expect coming in here. We just kept battling the heat. It is what it is, and you got to deal with it either way. I think we handled it well today.
Cooper?
It's probably worse for these 2 guys. They were out there for all 9 innings, but it was hot. But believe it or not, I think it might be a little more humid down in North Carolina at times. So, I think that helped us just be able to fight through the hot weather. Super regional and regional were super hot down there in North Carolina, so I think that helped us prepare and perform today.
Ben?
Yeah, it was definitely a hot day. Coach said earlier, since it was going to be so hot, maybe it would give us the upper hand due to the weather we experienced in North Carolina. So, I know all the guys really take care of themselves and use what's around us. So, I think it helped us today, and we'll keep rolling.
Okay, Matt, this will be the last question for the players.
Matty Maroon, White and Blue Review. For any of the guys who want to address it, I guess. Coach Fox mentioned how well you guys played defensively today. Specifically, the plays where you guys made to kind of kill Oregon State's rallies when they seemed to have some steam going in certain innings. I think there were a few plays at third, 1 at second. How much juice did those plays give you guys in the dugout when it looked like Oregon State was kind of pushing through?
We have a good statistician guy. He puts us in the right place along with the coaches. They just seem to know where to put us, and we have to make the plays, and the key for our team is pitching and defense. And as long as we play defense and pitch well, I feel like we're a pretty good club to beat.
All year we've been playing great defensively, and that just gives us more confidence. And I think ZG made a heck of a play on that ground ball, and Bush made a heck of a pick too. And then I think it was either the 8th or the 9th, but when B-Mark picked the guy off at first, that was huge to get me back in the windup because I feel more comfortable there. So, that was no outs, runner on first. They could have turned into something there, and I think that was one of the biggest outs of the game.
Ben?
Yeah, no doubt. Obviously Zack made a great play at second, which killed our momentum, and then again when Josh Hyatt came in and Ike made that play at shortstop, that was huge for us. And I think our defense gave us upper hand today because we were, like Coach said, it was a heavyweight battle hitting-wise. So, yeah.
Congratulations, guys. We'll see you Monday night.
Thank you.
Sounds good. Thank you. Now we'll have questions for Coach Fox. We'll hold on. Wait a second here, Mike, until the guys clear the line of sight. Let's go over here with Mike first. Okay. It's the first one I saw. No, right here.
Coach, I think I asked you this before the playoffs, but now that we're 6 games in, you guys have scored 7 or more runs 5 times now, it seems like, at the plate. They're taking great at-bats. Just what have you seen out of the team, and how have you kind of tried to stress that? It seems they're able to take advantage of other teams and score when they need to.
Well, we have seemed to have hit our offensive stride here in the NCAA tournament began, and you got to give credit to our kids. They listen, they've kind of bought in, and it takes all of them to to help us score those runs. And it is a little bit contagious as well. So this box score is kind of pretty typical of kind of what we've seen down toward the end of our season with just different guys, having big games for us or stepping up. It's pretty amazing what Ben was able to do today, quite honestly, without seeing a lot of live pitching. It's a great credit to him. So, our guys are looking at the ball good and taking advantage of being in good counts, and it's helping us.
Jonathan?
Jonathan Alexander, News and Observer. If I could ask you a couple questions. What was it that happened with Luka when y'all went out to the mound? First, so I'll ask that question first, and then I'll ask the other one.
Well, obviously you saw, John Luka kind of called us out there, and he just basically said he just, he just didn't feel right, and that's really all he needed to say, quite honestly. Didn't get real specific on the mound, so I can't address exactly what, but he basically said he just didn't feel like he had anything on the ball. So with his past history, that was we needed to make a change.
And also, what are you pitched Cooper today? What are your potential options for Monday and going forward if you can't have Luka?
We'll figure it out. Honestly, we just knew how important it was to get game one, and honestly, we actually went into the game. I probably misspoke earlier that we weren't going to use Cooper, but in the back of our mind, Coach Woodard and I talked about if we need to use Cooper Criswell for an inning, we would, and he could still come back, we thought, and pitch and start a game on Monday. Now that he's thrown 34, that's probably not going to be the case, but we'll see. We just want to try to enjoy this one for a little bit before we start planning for the next one.
Okay.
Mike, along those lines, you may have just answered this, but it seems like you did a pretty good job balancing out all your bullpen guys. Everybody was in between like 20 and maybe 30 pitches. Was that by design?
No. I would have been fine for one of them to just go out there and finish the game. It was just circumstances, and some of them ran out of gas. Some of them weren't as sharp the second or third time out. We've got a history with Caden O'Brien, so we kind of know when they've kind of reached their limit. And then Joey lost the strike zone, and then it was just it was kind of somewhat pieced together. I'd like to say it was by design, but it's just kind of how the game goes and what you see, and then who you've got down there in the bullpen.
Okay. Kenneth?
Yeah, Kenneth Pancake of the Gateway. So turning back to Monday, I know you talked about pitchers, but for position players, what factors into the recoup when thinking about how you just played, a 4.5-hour game? How does that change your recoup plans for Monday?
Well, yeah, recovery is important here. Of course, some of our guys are being drug tested, and so some of them had to go do that, and they're starving. So we need food in the dugout. So we need the NCAA to relax that rule a little bit, allow there to be some food in the dugout for these poor kids. So now that I said that, we'll never have food in there, but it's in the locker room. But anyway, so it is. I mean, we're allowing our trainers and our strength coach, and we might need to get everybody together tonight and have a nice team stretch, yoga session or something. You got to do whatever you can to kind of get them to recover, but you got to remember they're young. They recover quicker than most of us.
Okay, Mike.
You mentioned this in your opening statement, but some of the unlikely heroes who stepped up today and some of these freshmen like Ben and O'Brien and Lancelotti, seems like you've gotten a lot of that this year, a lot of guys stepping up in production from different parts of the team. How does this team sort of stack up to other teams you've had from that standpoint where you have almost a different player stepping up every day? It seems like it's kind of unique with this group.
It is unique. It's kind of been part of our, just kind of the characteristic of our team down the stretch here. A little unique, but now that we've seen Caden, with 29, 30 appearances, and Joey hadn't pitched in a while, but you saw the kind of stuff he has. And it was nice to get those guys out there, game one, and get their feet wet and let them experience it for the first time and have some success and then get a win. So all of that certainly played in our favor today.
Okay, Mike. Oh, Mitch over here. I'm sorry.
Mitch Sherman, ESPN.com. Coach, you seem to be pretty clear about Luka and how you felt about him today, but I don't know if you can clarify any further about what you possibly think on his availability down the road. And then also with that pitching dynamic, how does this tournament make it perhaps easier to absorb some of the stuff that you guys faced today, because if you win, the games are spread out?
Sure. Well, I can't answer anything about Luka because I haven't spoken to him or our trainers. So I don't know exactly the extent of what he was feeling. All he was saying was he just didn't feel like the ball was coming out of his hand like it normally does. And so I'm sure Terry Joe's already spoken to him, and we'll just have to reevaluate that. But we won't. If there's anything at all wrong with Luka Delatri, we won't pitch him the rest of the year. That's for sure.
Okay, Mike.
Coach, you've been in a number of these games. This haven't been your 7th trip, and now you have the distinction of having coached and managed the longest 9th inning College World Series game. What was it like to be out there in kind of those conditions like that, and is there anything you can take away from kind of a game that grinded out like that moving forward?
I like being in the third base coaching box in the top of the third for a long time. Felt like I was out there for a while. That's always good. But we played a long game here against 06. Bobby Hundley reminded me against Fullerton, almost a 5-hour game. It was 11 innings. So I don't know. For me, the more you're out there, the better. I don't know. I just love being out there and watching kids compete and playing the game. And I get it. That was a long game, and but they're not long for me. I mean, they're not long for the coaches and the players. I know sometimes it's agonizing for other people to watch because it's like, really, we're in the 3rd inning and we've played 2 hours already. So it is what it is. But we're not trying to drag it out by by design.
Okay, this will be our last question here.
Matty Arenas, White and Blue Review. Coach, you've mentioned this throughout some of your answers, but I mean, in terms of when Luka goes down and you're thinking, how are you going to piece 9 innings together against Luke Heimlich, against that Oregon State lineup? What level of concern goes through your mind when you're changing pitchers like that early in the game? And then at what point did you feel comfortable that you guys were kind of regaining control of the situation?
Well, to be honest with you, this team is the characteristic of this team I like the most is that we flush things pretty quickly, and eyes forward. We've said that a lot. I mean, once he's out of the game, we gotta go, it's the next pitcher's the next pitch. And our guys didn't really, they didn't panic, they didn't flinch, and we just knew we have to keep playing. It is what it is, and sometimes that happens during the course of a game. You got to make quick adjustments. You got to give credit to our kids, our relievers, and Coach Woodard for being able to piece all that together. So I got to give credit to our team for just continuing to play and compete under circumstances that they're out of your control.
Mike, thank you. Congratulations.
I'd like to say one other thing, if I would. And I need to go ahead and get this out there because a lot of you know it's already been out. But we found out this morning before our game that a former player for Zack and his father were killed last night in a car accident. And I know it's out there. There's some stories about it. And I asked our SID if I should bring it up, but my team played with a pretty heavy heart today. Zack was a great kid, left-handed pitcher for us last year from Old Bridge, New Jersey, and Brandon Martirano's probably his best friend. So that was kind of that was our pregame meal this morning. Me having to tell our team. So I want to first of all just let the Antonisi family know how much the Carolina baseball program is thinking of them, and I just want to give a shout out to Brandon Martirano, because it was mighty hard for him to do, to go out there, because they've been friends ever since they were kids. So life is fleeting, and it was tough news for us to hear. We didn't really want our team to know before the game, but we didn't have any choice because of social media. But I know some of you already know, and you chose not to ask me about it, and I appreciate that respect very much. But I just wanted to felt like I needed to say that, because it just shows you how tough my team is, but also how caring my team is. And I thought Brandon Martirano made the biggest play of the game there, picking that guy off. And quite honestly, I wasn't even sure he was gonna play today. So I just wanted to make sure I got that out there. So God bless Zack and his dad.